Tri-City Sports Now, and I'm Marky Billson. Mentioned before that the NFL schedule is going to come out tonight. We will be seeing, now, we know the opponents, we just don't know what in order. We don't know, what the Monday night games are. What we know that there will be, it's going to be Bears-Packers. It starts the season off, I guess they said. But yeah, 8 p.m. they will release the schedule for the NFL. All right, now I mention all this because and this is actually kind of nice for people like me because I have season tickets to the NFL. I have season tickets to the Steelers. So the earliest we know when the dates are, the earlier we can sell the seats when you also live 400 miles away from the venue and you can't go to every game. And so that's good too. But I did think that I would mention here, it's going to be Bears-Packers kick off the season, but just to give you an idea, NFL schedule, I thought I'd tell you some key games here for some key teams. We don't now the Patriots aren't going to open up the season. Usually the Super Bowl winner hosts the first game of the year. It's played on a Thursday, that sort of thing. It's what the schedule has been. Patriots, though, home schedule is quite glamorous. I mean, you know that they are going to play the, you always know home and away, Bills, Jets, Dolphins. You know that. They also play, however, this is the intriguing thing. A lot of time, what you get is then the NFL, they schedule one division against another. And if you look at past schedules, you can kind of figure out what your favorite team's division is going to schedule in the future. Okay, it's not that difficult to figure out. So, for instance, this year the Patriots are going, the AFC East are going to take on the AFC North. And so that means the Browns and the Steelers go to Foxborough. Meanwhile, the Pats will travel to Baltimore and Cincinnati. Nice games for those fans. Okay. But also, the Cowboys come into Foxborough. Maybe the Cowboys' luster isn't what it once was, but still. The Chiefs come into Foxborough. And even the Giants, who, let's not forget, have defeated the Pats in 2 Super Bowls, come to Foxborough. And then the Patriots also, they have to go and play the Eagles 2 years ago, lost in the Super Bowl to them. The Texans beat them in the playoffs. That could be, and the Redskins. All right, they got to go to Washington. So, that. But that's a glamour team to look for. Steelers, by the way, if you're not aware. Of course, I just told you the AFC North will play the AFC East. I'm using the Steelers because they're a glamour team here. They're going to have the home and away against the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns. I think the Browns are going to win their division this year. Steelers also, they will host the Bills, geographic rival. Really the only real exciting games, I think, for them. Rams and Seahawks come in. So you have to also understand your division plays once every 4 years. The other division in the conference. So this year, for instance, the AFC North takes on the NFC West. And then once every 8 years, do you go to that other team's venue? All right, in the other conference. Actually, I don't think this is so hot because I think that let's just put it this way, I think the Ravens and Redskins should play more than once every 4 years. I think that the Steelers and Cowboys, that's Celtics Lakers, that's Yankees Dodgers, they ought to play more than once every 4 years. They ought to host games more than once every 4 years. My idea, eliminate the preseason, put 2 games into the regular season, and have teams make their own schedules, bid on them. Like you see in college football, like they did in the real old days of the NFL. I'm talking like 1920s, 1930s, you'd have, that sort of thing. But really how they put together the preseason schedules, too. They make their own preseason schedules out. Preseason schedules are already out. Why couldn't you do that with 2 regular season games? Home and away on both teams. And then you could have games that are topical, geographical, or even, you have to have the commissioner's office go through them and have their approval So there you have the New England Patriots, and they want to take on, I don't know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and who else is bad? The Arizona Cardinals. You're saying, dudes, you know, well, if you really want to play those games, go out on the road. Something like that. I would suggest, though, that, yeah, you have the formula schedule. You had 2 games, and you have the teams try it themselves. It could be chaotic. It also could be a lot of fun. And you get the Giants to play the Jets more, the Chargers to play the Rams more, Texans, Cowboys. You know, I mean, yes, there are some teams that aren't necessarily all that glamorous, but you know what? Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. That probably would help out those 2 franchises if they played more than once every 4 years and more than only once every 8 years at each other's venue. Think about it. And that would be, you know, a rivalry that would be very easy to create under the circumstances. Same, you know, I talk about, say, Panthers and Titans. There you go. All right? So, you know, it's what I would do. Anyway, as I said, the Steelers. And by the way, John Madden actually wrote about this in one of his books. He said he would put away 2 weeks of every schedule for rivalries. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Okay? But anyway, I said the Steelers, you know the divisional opponents. They play the NFC West this year, so it's the Rams coming in. Unfortunately, the Steelers don't get to play in the Coliseum. Of course, they always struggled in the Coliseum. They never have beaten the Rams in the Coliseum. They've beaten them in Pasadena. They haven't beaten them. They've beaten them in St. Louis. But, The Steelers will also, like I said, they host the Rams and the Seahawks. Glamour games on the road. Chargers, I mentioned the Patriots. They get to go to the Jets and play Le'Veon Bell again. That's big. 49ers, that once upon a time would have been something. Not so much anymore. Titans, you know the divisional opponents that they'll play. This year, the AFC South takes on the NFC South. So the Saints and Bucks come in to play the Titans, and yes, the Titans will venture their once every 8 years trip to Charlotte, North Carolina, and play the Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Meanwhile, Titans will also play at Oakland. We assume that the game will be in Oakland and not London or Mexico. You know that not all those games will be played in Oakland as the Raiders play their last year there, but there's a chance that they could play one of the final games in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum. All right. They also have to go to Denver and Cleveland as well. So away games for the Titans, you know, the divisional opponents, Falcons and Panthers out of the conference. Got to go to Cleveland, got to go to Denver, got to go to Oakland. You kind of hope you don't play Denver and Cleveland late in the year. You hope you get them early because of weather purposes, I would imagine. Anyway, home, Chiefs come in, Bills come in, Chargers come in, Saints come in, Bucks come in. That's the Titans. All right. Who else do people like around here? They like the Cowboys, right? You know the divisional opponents they'll play. Cowboys will also host the Bills. All right. A couple of Super Bowls they met. One's the Packers. Yeah, that's Rams. Dolphins. Vikings. Always been big games against those. And they'll all be coming to Jerry World. On the road, Cowboys go to Chicago. They play Chicago. They play Detroit. Seems like Detroit always gives Dallas just everything they can handle. Mentioned before, they got to go to New England. New Orleans. Have to go to New Orleans. And they have to go to New York to play the Jets. That's kind of intriguing. All right. Used to show the Redskins all the time around here. Redskins, you know, the divisional opponents. They host the Bears and Lions. They will be, the NFC East this year plays out of conference the AFC East, so it'll be the Patriots and the Jets that they'll host in Washington. They'll also host the 49ers. Let's see here. I know that there's been, I guess the Lions, Bears, and 49ers, they've always played them in some big playoff games. Of course, you know, the Redskins have been around forever, so naturally they would. Got to go to Buffalo, Carolina. I remember when the Redskins played the Falcons at the University of North Carolina, and Hardee's got behind that. This was before the Panthers were created, and it was called the Backyard Battle. So the fruits of their labor of the long ago preseason back in the 90s, Carolina Panthers come in. they have to travel to Carolina. I'm sorry. It used to be WBT, the big Charlotte radio station, was a Redskins affiliate. That's how popular Redskins were down south. They were the Southern team. Fight for old Dixie. That's what the hail to the Redskins said at the time. It even ended with the final bars of Dixie. You can find it on YouTube. Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Bills, Panthers, Packers, Dolphins, Vikings. You hope you get the Dolphins late in the year. You hope you get the Packers early in the year if you're the Washington Redskins. And that's the games that they will be playing there as we review some of the glamour teams. Carolina Panthers, we'll talk local teams here. You know the divisional opponents that they will play home and away. They do every year. They also host the Jaguars, the Rams, Seahawks, Titans, and Redskins. Meanwhile, the Panthers must go to play the Cardinals, Packers, Texans, Colts, and 49ers. They'll be in San Francisco. So I think the Rams will be good. Rams, by the way, in what I believe is their final year in the Coliseum, so a lot of history there. Two very historic football stadiums, the Coliseum and the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, I guess, playing their last games this year. I don't think that's good for the league that they don't have any Wrigley Field or Fenway Park for football. I really don't. Anyway, but it'll be the Cardinals, Niners, and Seahawks, you know, the divisional opponents for the Rams. Then they will also host the Ravens, the Bears, there's an old rival, Bengals, Saints, and Buccaneers. Really, if you're looking for, that's kind of disappointing, I think. You know, if you're looking in the last year of the Coliseum, in a historic, you would want, the Bears are that team, the 49ers are that team, but yeah, the others, no. No, that's AFC, and what's that, Ravens, Bengals, Saints come in, that ought to be a good game, don't get me wrong. It's not that. I guess it reminds people of the old NFC West days, Archie Manning going up against Pat Hayden or something, Away, they got to go to Phoenix, play the Cardinals, San Francisco, Seattle. They go to Atlanta, Carolina, we mentioned that before. They go to Cleveland, which was their former home years and years ago, prior to the ending of World War II. No, I guess last year in Cleveland was 45, so there you go. Dallas ought to be a good game, and Pittsburgh ought to be a good game. So those are some of the glamour teams and who they will play. By the way, I think I skimmed over all of the Steelers' opponents. Let me just give you that. By the way, if you want to know who comes in the last year of Oakland, now again, some of these games I'm sure are going to be played in Mexico or England or wherever, but Denver, Kansas City, Los Angeles Chargers, there you go. Chicago Bears, by the way, the Los Angeles Chargers 1960, I think the Oakland Raiders that year actually played at Candlestick Park. So if you're looking for the old AFL, well, not necessarily. Denver, KC, the Chargers, Bears come in, Bengals, Lions, Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. I mentioned the Titans. And if you're curious, the Raiders will go on the road to the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, LA Chargers. Green Bay Packers, there you go, rematch Super Bowl II with the big ETSU time, that former game. Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Minnesota Vikings, and the New York Jets. Jets hosting everybody this year. But anyway, those are some of the glamour teams I mentioned. I didn't give the whole schedule. You know the divisional opponents for the Steelers. At home, it's the Bills, the Colts, the Rams, Dolphins, and Seahawks. Away, it's the divisional opponents. They got to go to play the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Chargers, the New England Patriots, the New York Jets, and the San Francisco 49ers.